Oh my God. Gas. Gas. Puffing on that gas. Gas.
Oh shoot, I'm too much on it, man. Yeah. So what's up? What's up, Mr. Riggins?
Shit, just finished doing my podcast with my very good friend Tammy T. Love. We do a live Facebook and Instagram podcast every Tuesday called A Couple of Studs, because I'm attractive and she's a lesbian, so it works.
And I'm attractive too.
Yeah, it's my time.
So what's up, man? We gotta let the people know who you are, man. You know.
Well, I am Chris Riggins. I am a comedian from the Bay Area, Berkeley born and raised. I've opened for Dave Chapelle, dare I say, all of the rocks. No, I've opened up. I'm a tour host for Talib Kweli. I've opened up for Black Star and Erykah Badu and countless other numbers of people. Thank you, sweetheart. So basically, yeah, I'm a comedian. I tell jokes and I write.
All right, we trying to get Jeremy in, man. We ran into the, you know what I'm saying? I guess what happens to everybody with Zoom. I kept on trying, but this is the thing. We gonna do another one, and we gonna bring Jeremy in. So we not
okay.
Gonna. Yeah. We gonna do another one. Don't trip. We like in a couple of weeks we'll have you come back. I know you got it cracking.
Oh no, I mean nobody's really doing nothing. Like it's so funny how people are pretending like they have shit to do just to keep shit normal.
Yeah. I'm just here. I just hit Jeremy. So yeah, nah, man. So it's a trip because I don't know you as a comic. I ain't seen you tell near joke. You know what I'm saying? I ain't seen none of that. Matter of fact, Jeremy might have mentioned to me that you were a comic, but when it all resonated when I came down the high road day with Sling.
Yeah.
And then you came by the booth and I was like, because Slink kept saying Chris, but it, like I say, as a comedian, it did not resonate to me. Now, when I hear Chris Riggins, what I think of is a cat that was managing, man, homeboy was a dope producer, man, or probably still is a dope producer, Trackademics.
No, I wasn't managing Track. I was working with Journey, but I used to do a lot of shit with Track.
Okay. No, I remember you managed Journey. Okay, for whatever reason, I thought that you managed Track, but no, that's cool. You've been around for a minute though, many more.
I actually, funny thing is, like, I was the tail end of my management career was the beginning of my comedy career. Like when I started really managing, like Jern, actually my artist, when he saw me do comedy, he was like, "Bro, you gotta stop being my manager and do this comedy shit." Like he was like, "There's no point in you being my manager because like you got your own talent you need to chase." I was like, "For sure." And I was so glad to get out of management.
I'll tell you something funny. If somebody would have said, "Yo, Schmooche, I'm gonna give you $1 million and I'm gonna name 2 comedians," and if they would have put your name in it with somebody else in it, I just saw you as a manager. You know what I'm saying? That was like, dude, it was, and then the twist is, after Slink went in and Slink was like, "Oh man, nah, man, Chris is the dude. He's like the plug up to the Bay. He got he got his finger on it. Woo woo."
Oh yeah.
And I'm talking to Jeremy, and Jeremy was saying Chris, and it still wasn't resonating. It didn't. But that's funny because I always tell people that I know, they'll be so dope at what they do. I won't have to know what they do. But just because we click like that, I know they like, dude, I don't even have to, There's
a reason sometimes you're in people's hemispheres. Like, okay, there's something that's gonna happen here. And like, I didn't even trip, like, when he said Pharcyde, I was like, oh yeah. And then I didn't even think Schmooche. I was like, oh shit, that's right, Schmooche. That's the guy. That's my dude. So man, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to see you doing this. I'm glad that I was invited to be a guest. Shout out to Jeremy who is having technical difficulties.
Yeah, I just tried to add him again too. So we gonna see.
Check to see if your meeting is locked.
If my meeting is locked.
Yeah, like if you go down to your participants and then you go down to where it says more, it'll little drop scheme drop down and it'll say like lock meeting or unlock meeting.
Nah, man, it's
all right. Like I said, Jeremy's probably had some ugly chicks house with bad internet.
Yeah, it's none of that. You know what? I don't know. Man, I can't even call it. It never happened to me before like that. But hold on. He says, yeah, that's him. He's just nah. We gonna do another one. Don't trip. I like to bring people back. You know what I'm saying, to get into it. So what's up, man? How's the Rona been treating you up in the Bay?
You know, it's like it's become normal now. It's not even a thing that you think of now. Like you just know this is what's happening tomorrow. Like, you know, it's almost like created a new saying. You know, they say the only thing that is certain is death and taxes. Well, now the only thing that's certain is another day of quarantine, death and taxes. So it's crazy. But at the same time, I'm trying to use it as a moment to build myself. You know, like I just passed my course to become a weed interpreter, a cannabis interpreter, excuse me. Basically, which is kind of like the weed equivalent of a sommelier for wine. So I'm learning about terpenes and how to pair your weed with your, you know, what type of events you want to do. Like you want to go to a barbecue in the backyard and chill on a Saturday afternoon.
You want to go to a sideshow? I got this little thing right over here for you that's just perfect for the sideshow.
Exactly. Like, so I'm doing that. I'm losing weight. I done lost like another 15 pounds during quarantine. Doing this juice shit, which is killing me, dude. It's killing me. It's fucking. I love my girl, but I'm about to just say, you know what? You just have to love a fat nigga because I can't do this.
He said, "Hey, man. Well, nah, man. That's cool. Something positive's coming out of the Rona. You know, for the first, probably the week before it jumped off, I kind of went into panic mode, and I was at Costco every day. You know what I'm saying? I was just, you know, hitting Costco 4:00 in the morning. Started off at 8:00 in the morning, then 5:00 in the morning. Then the last time I went, before it was just really getting crazy, was like 4. And the crazy thing to me is, all I got to show for it, I mean, I got some food, like dry foods and stuff like that, but I did get caught up in the whole fascination with toilet paper and paper towels. So now I got this toilet paper and these paper towels.
Just stacked. I mean, it's not a bad investment to have toilet paper and paper towels. It's not. But you should be thinking about that on a regular basis. Like, let me buy enough toilet paper where I don't have to buy toilet paper for like 6 months. You know what I mean? On a practical mindset, not on a, hey, you know what? There's this deadly virus going around. Let me buy toilet paper, make sure my butt's clean. It's like, it's stupid.
We were buying the wrong stuff, man.
Dude, I heard it was an immune thing, and me and my girl went and bought ginger and citrus and all these things that build your immune system up, as opposed to buying, you know, just toilet paper. Like I'm believing that, you know, I'm on the shit then shower program. So I shit then I shower because, you know, most standard apartments, the shower's right next to the toilet. So it's a lot easier than wasting toilet paper. And then, you know, I put everybody in the house on the toilet paper ration. Yeah, you know, everybody.
You hardcore in your household, man.
We prepare for the zombie apocalypse in my house. We do combat training from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Then we read conspiracy theories, and then you know, push-ups for the rest of the day.
I'm like, man, this dude is this dude is next level on it. So tell me this, where are you from? Were you raised in the Bay?
Yeah, I'm from Berkeley, born and raised in Berkeley.
Dude, I love Berkeley, man.
Oh, it's a beautiful city.
I tell anybody, man, Berkeley, you got a cross pollination of revolutionaries and hippies, man.
Yo, that's kind of crazy. Like, you know, growing up in Berkeley, you grew up seeing all these things that people are tripping on now. Like, there was a kid in my class who wore dresses. Nobody tripped off it. Hideki just wore fucking dresses. It was just what it was. This other kid had 2 moms. Nobody gave a fuck. It was just like one of those things, you know. It's also one of those places where it's like it's a lot of racism too. It's the liberal racism, you know. It's the you know, we know what's best for you type racism, and that's affecting in a different way. Because then you go to Oakland and there's a whole different contrast. Like Oakland is a whole different city, and it's literally touching Berkeley.
Dude, that's so crazy. Because when I went to Berkeley for the first time, it blew my mind so tough. I think when I left, I didn't have a concept of bad people in Berkeley. Like I was just like, man, you got tree hugging revolutionaries, man. And I was just like, man.
You went to Telegraph, see you.
Yeah, you. What was the name of that record shop?
Oh, well, there's Rasputin's, there's Amoeba, there was Leopold's.
Rasputin's was what it was.
Actually, funny thing is, when I was a kid, I bought Dell's I Wish My Brothers George album was at Leopold's, and I was walking out, and he was walking in to work his shift. And it was like, yo, I just bought your tape. Hey, can you sign it? And he's like, hold on, I gotta go clock in. It's, you know what I mean? So it's like, Berkeley is one of those places I was privileged to grow up in. Like, I have to say that. Despite its downsides that I experienced through growing up there, just based on being still in America, it still was, the Berkeley school system was probably the best one in the Bay Area as far as I'm concerned. Because when I think of my friends that went to Berkeley schools versus my friends that went to Oakland schools, we got two different educations. Not saying that they aren't like smart and intelligent, but
no.
They weren't given all the tools that we were given.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I was fortunate enough to go to a magnet school. You know, my early years. You know what I'm saying?
I went to Arts Magnet,
but that was that was us living 2 houses away from the principal, and I was just fortunate enough to be able to get a ride with him for a while, and then I started catching the bus. But you know, it's like no, it's whack. Certain kids get the tools, certain kids don't get it.
Yep, certain kids definitely don't get the tools, and it's so weird growing up so close to it. It's like, on one hand, you got, Berkeley, where, I see one side of life. I grew up in a very multicultural neighborhood. It was Black people, it was white people, it was a Japanese man who was there since World War II. You know what I mean? It was a very diverse neighborhood. And then you go to Oakland, you go to your friend's house, and you're in a Black neighborhood. You're like, wow, there's nothing but Black people here. That's crazy to me. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's just how the Bay Area was. Because you go to San Francisco, it's nothing but white people and Asian people. And so, of course, everywhere there's Mexicans. So, it's a beautiful place to grow up.
Is the Tenderloin in Oakland or San Francisco?
It's in San Francisco.
Okay. So yeah, that's a whole nother conversation.
Tenderloin, we call that the ghetto. My friend calls that the ghetto financial district.
Oh man, yeah, it's a trip. It's a trip. I'll tell you, the part is, you can have. I don't know if you've been to LA, but you can have one part that's like Skid Row, which that's like the Tenderloin, and then a block away, it's like a banking district. It's like, it's from a block, it just changes from the larger side of the spectrum to the other side of the spectrum.
Yep, I lived in LA for 2 years. I lived in South Central and Western and 87th. I lived out in Hawthorne. I lived in Highland Park. I lived way out in the valley, deep valley, like by the 210. Like,
that's the
So I definitely understand LA. Like, the thing about the Tenderloin, it's like you go from San Francisco's tourist area with all the malls and shopping and everything that, Union Square and all the tourist shit. And you literally walk half a block and you just notice the block completely changes as far as the demographic of people there. And that's how the Tenderloin starts. That's how you're introduced to the Tenderloin. There's no sign that says, welcome to the Tenderloin, now entering the Tenderloin. It's like, to stop, boop, boop, boop. Oh, crackheads, we've left. We are no longer in the tourist area.
So tell me this. At what point did you decide you wanted to start messing with comedy? Was it after you were managing rap groups and all that kind of stuff or whatever? Or was this something that you kind of wanted to do along the way?
Well, so the way I got into managing rappers was I was doing work for a marketing company called Ankh Marketing. And they were, Ankh Marketing. They're known for doing Rock the Bells and a lot of Mos Def, Black Star, Talib, Erica, Common, all those concerts. They were very big. And so I started working with them, and through them, then I started managing because, I had connections. And so I was trying to get my artist shows and stuff like that. And then, just on one night, I was, drunk, roasting the homies. My boy Smurv and my boy Brian Trent. Smurv is very close to Dave Chapelle, and Brian Trent is is D'Angelo's manager. So I just started roasting these niggas. This nigga Brian had on this puff coat, so I just started calling him Lifesaver John, and I was just fucking with him. And so they was like, "Oh, you funny? You think you funny? Okay. How about this? You want to open up for Dave in 2 weeks at the new parish in Oakland?" Of course, drunk me was like, "Fuck yeah, let's do that." So 2 weeks go by, and then I get a call, and he's like, "You ready to do this?" I'm like, "Ready to do what?" Open to Dave. I'm like, "Yeah, okay, fuck it." I figured I had either if I bombed, it was gonna be a good story, and if I did great, I found something new to do. And so I got up there and I had 3 jokes. And the first time they left me up there for 10, 15 minutes, I didn't even know what time was. I didn't know what a light was. I didn't know any of the rules of comedy. And I just did these 3 jokes with riffs in between and destroyed it. They said, okay, do the next show. Did the next show. They're like, we'll come back tomorrow night. So after that, it just became like this addiction, this new high. It's like, oh, whew, I get to do this. And I don't need anybody to do it.
So what you're telling me, this is something you started in your adult years, and you're good, because I haven't seen any of the comedy, but I know, I mean, enough people are like, this dude's the ambassador to the Bay, like, and it's so weird because it's not rap, it's not music, you know what I'm saying? But they're like, nah, Chris Riggins,
But it's so much like being in rap helped me kind of like navigate comedy better, because comedy is one of those deceiving things. Like rap is all about definite hard work. Like, artists work really hard. Like you got to go to the studio, you got to get beats, you got to mix it, you got to master it. There's a lot goes into making music. Whereas with comedy, I literally sit at home, smoke weed, write the shit down, go to a show, stand in front of people and say the dumbest shit that I could think of. And people love it. Or they hate it.
So from Dave Chapelle, then you start working with Talib.
Yeah, I knew Talib before I knew Dave. And, me and Talib just started getting close over the years. And then so this past summer, he was going on the tour that he booked himself, without an agent. And he was like, you want to come do the hosting? And I was like, sure. So I just went on the road with him. And it was, it was really fun because I got to, it's kind of put me in this, it kind of gave me this kind of path that I have where I can do comedy and I can also host hip hop shows. Because I was hosting hip hop shows with Ankh before, you know what I mean? I've hosted shows with Black Star on them. So actually, I just hosted the Wu-Tang Nas show at the Open Coliseum a couple of weeks before this whole Rona thing broke out. So it's like I have this ability to be funny while hosting hip hop while not making it a comedy show. But at the same time, I can go do a comedy show and just be all jokes.
Speaking of hosts, man. It's no way I can have a conversation with somebody from the Bay and not shout out Fran Boogie.
Oh, that's my guy. We're birthday buddies. His birthday is the 9th and I'm the 10th of September. So
yeah, he roasted me. We were out there and we went to after hours after a show and I cannot remember where the show was, but I'd never been there before, but I think Brown and them had. But anyway, Fran hosted it, and I think Apollo and the whole little
triple threat.
Yeah, he bagged said I was wearing some corduroy. He didn't tell me. He told Brown.
Yeah,
I
sounds like him. Like no, Fran's the one person that when I roast with, he's the one person that can always come back. Like sometimes I get him. When I get Fran, I'm like, yeah, because he's not easy. He's ugly dudes are hard to roast. Because you just, it's just like they ugly, like, I'm ugly, bro. What am I gonna do? I just have to take this and know how to punch back. So, but yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like, I'm trying to figure out all my talents and how to incorporate them because, like you said, I came from managing artists, but before that, I was a rapper. Like that's how I know Jern. I was an artist, you know what I mean? And I did music with him and other people. And I performed with the jazz bands, Mingus Among Us and Alphabet Soup in the Bay Area in the mid 90s. I started with them by like 16. So I'd been in the clubs since I was like 16 doing performances already. So being on stage was not an issue. It was the thing of being on stage by myself without any crutch. Like there's no beat. There's no hype man.
Lean on.
No DJ that could just say, yo, yo, yo. You know what I mean? There's none of that. I can't just stop in the middle of a joke. Everybody throw your hands up. I can't do that. I have to be funny 100% of the time that I'm up there. And the fucked up thing about it is like I'm going up there trying to be funny and I don't know what you find funny. I find this shit funny. Hopefully you find it funny too. And that's the that's the thrill of it. You don't know. Like I was just telling a group of comedians, if you're not at least 1% nervous and scared before you go on stage, you're not doing the shit right. You're not really doing the job. You're not even doing the art. You're doing the job. Like the job and the art are two different things. Like, yes, comedy has become a job. I'm constantly doing comedy for money. Like, you know, right now I'm at the Copper Spoon in Oakland where I do my Zoom shows and my setup. I just finished doing like I said, my podcast. I run a Thursday night show. I'm going to be doing Friday and Saturday. You know, I'm trying to stay, you know, working because it's my job. So, and I'm making money off this. So that's the job part, but I still have to take time in the art part to make sure that the jokes are funny, they're relevant, the
jokes keep the job.
The jokes keep the job because, you know, there's a lot of, the thing about comedy is like the longer you do it, it's just like any other job. You become blind to the little things. You just start doing the routine. You just do the routine. And with comedy, it's definitely a routine because you be in 3 different cities and 3 different nights and you're going to do the same set because it's just easier than trying to come up with a whole new set. And you know, these jokes work. So after a while, you get tired of hearing those fucking jokes. You're like, fuck, I hate this joke. I was so excited when I wrote this joke, but this joke drives me fucking crazy now. I hate it. And, you know, and I related to being a rapper because, like, you know, I've been on the road with Hieroglyphics, with Souls of Mischief. And to see them roll their eyes when 93 Till comes on. And they're just like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, they know that's their song and they made that song with so much love and energy and hip hop spirit. But now, 20 some odd years later, performing that shit for the, I'd say, millionth time, you're like,
yeah,
but
I know.
You have to find it.
I know a group that is everybody's favorite, and they had a whole thing on how they just went through, like, it was, I know it was one song. It might have been a couple of songs, but I know one song for sure. And they would just like not be into it. They were just like anti that song, but they would let the DJ would play the music. You know what I'm saying? They would just be anti, and I would just see the fans look there, and I was just like, man. But
yeah,
I understand.
They do it. They do something where they be like, we hate this song. We hate this song, but we do this song because y'all love this song.
That might be the group, and that might not be the group. But that's funny how you you know.
I remember they did that shit, and I, as a comedian, I thought that shit was hilarious. I'm like, thank you. Be real. Be honest. Be like, yo, we did the song in a different mindset. It's like you got to think about, like, say, a rapper that does a song when he's 19 about fuck these bitches. But then he grows into a 35-year-old man who's still lucky enough to be able to do rap music. Is he really still that dude?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's how you get to be boring like Common. Like, it just, I'm playing, let's fuck around. Common's not boring. He's fucking hilarious. He's fucking talented. But you know what I mean? Like, he's grown. You know what I mean? And like, as a comedian, I have to keep growing. You know, like, my voice sounds different based on where I'm at. But I always have favorites that I can come back to because I know how to relate to people. Like when I do shows in, let's say, Trump country, because trust me, these people love comedy. They love Black comics. I go out here to these places where I know these people think Black Lives Matter is a terrorist group. I know these people hate Obama. I know these people just, besides the fact that I'm entertaining them, they have no value in me. You know what I mean? And that's fine. But I know I can get that money and I can relate to them on some shit that just about kids. We all got kids. You married, I've been married, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you fucking hate niggers and you hate your ex-wife. Great. You know what I mean? Like, it's, you find the thread. And then through finding the thread, I'm able to actually then weave in the, hey, guess what? All that bullshit that Trump says is lies. You guys should really think for yourselves and understand that I am not the enemy. You know what I mean? And through laughter, then they get the message. But you have to find them where they are and bring them to where you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nah, you gotta. I was talking to somebody last week, and I was telling them how when I was a kid, I didn't like to take pills. I didn't like to swallow.
Mm-hmm.
So they mash the aspirin up in sugar, and then I have the aspirin and the sugar, and you drink the water. Yeah. Sometimes, man, you just gotta mash it up in the sugar, man.
You gotta mash it in the sugar, and especially in these places where I'm going, where I'm the only Black guy, and there's safety issues, because you know you're hearing these stories of these people killing Black people for being where they don't think they should be. And you worry about that when you're out there in those situations. You know, my mother is very concerned when I go to Redding, California. I love going there because I go there and the crowd is great, but every now and then I do get one of those people where I got to judge how my response should be. Because I don't know where I'm at. You know what I mean? Like, for all I know, he could be off-duty cop who, you know, decides that, well, he's going to wait for me to leave tomorrow and then pull me over and I disappear. You know what I mean? I have to be cognitive of all that stuff. You know, I've done shows near KKK places. So, you know what I mean? It's just a matter of learning to move accordingly and learning how to use humor to bring messages that these people may not necessarily hear through screaming and yelling. And, you know, like I one thing I've learned with conservative audiences is when I make liberalism out to be as stupid as it can be, then they're on board. And then I flip it on them like, well, y'all do the same shit. But then once you show them that, they're like, huh, I didn't get that. Like, you know, like I had this one white guy, he was just so amazed at how much him and the Mexican immigrants he doesn't like having common. He was like, y'all like, you got on cowboy boots. They love cowboy boots. You like music with acoustic guitars. They love music with acoustic guitars. You like F-150s. They like F-150s. Why are you hating why are you mad at them? You know what I mean? If anything, they're coming to help you out.
So who are the new comedians that are up and coming that you're looking out for?
Ooh, that's a deep question. So many. There's so many comedians. There's so many of them. Honestly, I don't know. Here's the thing. I know a lot of comedians through just doing shit. And the one thing I'll say is every comedian that I've worked with has a different gift in this game. Some have the complete gift, and those are the ones that have, you know, exceeded. And some people are building that gift. I find myself in the middle, you know, building that gift and having somewhat connections, you know, but it's all a matter of timing. So when I think of comedians that are up and coming that I watch, I think of comedians that are close to me that I work with, such as my homegirl who I just did my podcast with, Tammy T. Love. She's an opener for Monique. She is, you know, from LA, living in the Bay Area now, hilarious. She's my feature act when I go headline. Stroy Moy, who is the CEO of #HellaFunny, which is a comedy crew and production team that puts on shows throughout the Bay Area pretty much every night of the week. Actually, we're taking it to Zoom now. We're going to be working with SF Fun Cheap and a couple other sponsors trying to bring some more comedy out. Think of, you know, like the I can't think of anybody's name right now. That's such a random question. I would have wrote people's names down, but anybody I fuck with, okay, anybody that you ever see Chris Riggins book on the show is somebody you should look for upcoming. And at the end of the day, any comedian that you see that you have not seen on TV that you don't know of, if you find them funny, share the shit with your friends, pass their shit along. You know, it really just takes that, you know, go to your local comedy club, say, you want to see this motherfucker.
You know what? Sometimes I see this thing with comedians where they are very selective on giving other comedians props.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah,
they pull back on it. They want to give it, you know what I'm saying? And I've seen it in hip hop sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Because they, you know, guys will feel like, man, here it is, you prop this dude up and his head is his wham, and then he just takes off and he's just you know.
In hip hop, you can still like you can say something about that though. You could just be like, yo, you know what? That nigga fake, and start doing a whole song about it. Like you could literally call it, you can battle him. It can be settled. Whereas when comedy is more or less along the lines of comedians don't want no problems, they want no conflict, but they will talk shit. Comedians, I would say, I try to be a very supportive comedian. I feel like because I'm one of those people that feel like I treat people how I want to be treated at. But I try to be a supportive comedian because I understand that different stages of life create different types of comedy, good and bad, different jokes, different styles. I know comedians that are funny and have gone through some troubling shit in life, and then for that moment, they're just not funny because nothing they see in life is funny. They can't make it work because, like I was saying with the repetitive joke, you got to dig down and find a way to make that repetitive joke hype as it was the first time you did it, just as when, you know, Pharcyde is passing me by. Yeah, that shit, they get tired of that shit. But guess what? They got to make that song seem as hype as it was when they did it the first time on stage after they wrote it. It's just how the crowd came to see that. That's what they want. The crowd came to laugh. So my job is to make sure that I just exert all my energy towards that. And
tell me this. What was the night that you can recall where you saw a comedian have the perfect storm, as far as not a horrible storm, but just the perfect climate, the perfect temperature? They killed the stage. It was just, everything was right for that night.
I'm gonna have to say, you know what? Here's the thing, and I'll give my girl props. My homegirl, Miss K Kid. She is a comedian here in the Bay Area, and you know, she's working between being a single mother and a comedian and having a job. So you know, she doesn't get out to the shows as much as I believe she should. And I try to help her. And she got put on the show Chocolate Sundays here in the Bay Area. And through some, you know, I don't really want to say what happened in this, but somebody kind of side hated. I don't know if it was true or not, but basically she got on the show, then she got taken off the show. And then when people realized that was fucked up, they put her back on the show. And when they did that, one of the complaints was that she doesn't deserve to be on the show. And that's what she's telling me. People saying she doesn't. And so I told her, I said, hey, look, that means when you do this show, you better be on that shit. So I basically, for the next 2 weeks before the next show, next month, it was a month, I basically made sure she went to open mics. I put her on every show I could put her on. I fucking said, send me a set list. Let me hear your joke. What's your setup? What's your punch? You know what I mean? Saying, and she's like getting tired. I'm like, look, nigga, you can go up there and prove them motherfuckers right, or you can go up there and prove them motherfuckers wrong. I'm not gonna fucking be mad at you if you don't prove them wrong, because I understand the game, but I'll be damned if you're not gonna try to prove them wrong. You know what I mean? And, you know, especially with Black women being so scarce in comedy, not scarce, but being unheard in comedy and often being said you're not funny or you're only here because you're cute, all that shit that comes with it. And I just basically, you know, I drilled her. And she went out on that motherfucking stage, my nigga, and oh my God, she tore that motherfucker down. Like perfect storm of everything. The crowd, her outfit, her energy, her pride, like the practice. And oh my God, that was like one of those moments. It wasn't even a moment for me. It was a moment for her. And I just told her, she said, thank me. I said, no, thank your fucking self. I didn't go on those stages. You did. You practiced that. You did that shit. You went up there and proved that motherfucker who was actually there, who said she wasn't funny, proved him wrong. Because everybody in that room was dying laughing. You was the best show of the night. The fucking booker said, how can we get you on the next show?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the thing about comedy is you're not competing with anybody. I mean, even rap, anything in life, that you just got to take out the fact that you're competing with people. The only thing you're trying to compete with people is if you're playing sports and you're competing against somebody one-on-one or with a team. That's company. You're competing with yourself. You know, you're gonna have a bad fucking set sometimes. But guess what? That's cool. You saw what didn't work. You go back, you come back, you short memory that shit, and you get on the stage again and you set it off. You know, I've had sets where, like, I was having like a string of bad sets because I was just going through a lot of personal shit. And I got the opportunity to perform with Dave Chapelle in Los Angeles at Highland Park at this lodge on, what street is that on? Figueroa. And it was just some secret show, but I mean, like John C. Reilly there, Diddy's there, Nas is there, it's Chris Tucker, like, you know, Steve Stout. It's like the show. And they threw me up because Dave was late, sort of. They was like, you know, I had asked Dave to perform in San Francisco. He said, sure, but they wasn't sure, but they was like, fuck it, just go up. And I went up and I basically destroyed that motherfucker to the point that people that I knew in that circle that had never seen me perform was like, yo, what the fuck? I never knew you had that in you. And it was like time, place. I had to be on there. And it made me realize, okay, all those other sets, those were just stepping stones to get to working this set. Because I did the same shit. I did the exact same fucking jokes. And somehow, even Dave Chappelle was like, wow. That was probably, he was like, dude, that was, he came in towards the end and just heard the crowd laugh and it was like, wow. I didn't know who was on stage. He thought somebody big was on stage. He thought like Hannibal Buress or somebody was on stage at the moment. And I was like, yeah, well, that's what I do. That's what you need, you know.
So tell me this.
how has comedy changed since the Rona? As far as, you know, if what you do, you're the ambassador to the Bay, you're hooking up a bunch of shows, you got a bunch of rooms working and circulating and whatnot. So since the Rona's jumped off, like, where is it now and where do you see it going?
It's right where we are right now. Like Zoom and Zoom-like platforms, because I know there's more than Zoom, are where it's at right now. Because basically, in this sense, I can do a Zoom show, and there's like, I've done Zoom shows where it's like 100 people in the show, and you know, you highlight the speaker, you highlight the comedian, and then you mute everybody and unmute a few people at a time so they can get that laughter. You know, like, I'm on these Zoom shows, I'm roasting people's houses. I'm like, you know, look at that ugly baby picture behind you. You know what I mean? Like, having fun with it. And so right now it's pushing more online faster than we expected. You know, everything was going online. You know, you have your online comedians, your Instagram comedians, your YouTube comedians who are doing skits and, you know, creating online comedy content, who don't necessarily do stage work, who are now necessarily really have to compete with cats that do stage work, who are like, yo, I need to work.
I got two good questions for you. One, right now we have these guys who are social media sensations, but there's a very large difference between being a social media sensation and stepping on stage.
Oh, big difference.
Some of them can pull it off though. There's a couple of them that can pull it off.
Some do.
But the thing is, what I learned, you can't have the same expectation. Okay, if they're funny online, you got to let them earn that funny on stage. You can't go thinking because they did a bunch of skits, they had a very well produced sketch, and so that's what's going to translate to you spending X amount of dollars to step out and see them. It just really doesn't work that way.
Yeah, because like, here's the thing with online, and I appreciate their art, because like, honestly, this is the new generation. It's fast media, you know, it's everything right there. You know, their media is different than my media. When I grew up, we grew up on cassettes and shit. We grew up on seeing our entertainment in spurts where we could see it. You know what I mean? Rap City, Yo MTV Raps. You know what I mean? Maybe MTV News. We would see it in that form, but it's always so. Being able to edit funny and being able to be funny live are two different things. You know what I mean? Like, I can edit all the best things I say and make it seem like I'm fucking hilarious for 10 minutes. But when I'm on stage and there's actually that lull of waiting for people to react or waiting for people to stop reacting, the timing is so much different, because now you're dealing with a live, it's almost like the difference between punching a fucking, you know, training on a dummy, on a punching bag. You know, every boxer trains on a punching bag, but every boxer also has a sparring partner, because it's different. Punching bags don't punch back. Sparring partners will throw a punch back. There's plenty of boxers who became bigger boxers because they was knocking they training person out. You know what I mean? And so it's like, you know, if you're a good internet comedian, you go to the stage, you respect it. That's the first key. That's what will get me to invest in maybe even helping you or supporting you, because I understand the lure of it is amazing. Like I said, it's a fucking drug, dude. There's coke, heroin, and being on stage telling jokes that are the highs in the world, I believe. You know what I mean? It's one of those things when once you get a taste of it, you don't want to give it up. But you also have to respect the power of it, because you're going up, and these people that you're going in front of, they can turn on you in a like, they'll turn on you in a heartbeat. They'll be loving you.
I went to a show one night and saw it. Was, matter of fact, it was the first time I saw Jeremy.
Mm-hmm.
There was two people that went up before Jeremy, and this was something that I'd never seen in an audience before. And I'm sure it has been in hip hop audiences, but I just wasn't looking for it. The two people before Jeremy went up, the audience wanted to laugh so bad, but the guy, I couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand it. The audience wanted to laugh so bad, but
they just couldn't.
The dudes couldn't pull it off. Jeremy goes up and he destroys it, and I'm looking at him and I'm like, okay. And then after he gets off the stage, I talk to him, and he kind of comes over, he has his head down. He's like, man, you know, I didn't feel my timing was right tonight. I didn't feel I had it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, you had everybody dying, when they wanted those other two dudes, like it's just the other two dudes, it was amazing to me how they weren't able to pull it off, and they had this crowd of people that were ready to laugh, dude. They just wanted something funny.
There's so many variables to that. Like crowds are like funny like that. Like I've seen comedians go up and they've done pretty bad, and then they come back and they say, "Oh, the crowd's just weird tonight." And then I go up and I'm like, "No, the crowd wasn't weird. You were just weird." And what it is, it's a combination of like material, confidence. Because crowds are like crowd sense. If you don't feel the joke is funny, like if you're saying something and you don't even come across like it's funny, then people are not gonna think it's funny. They're gonna be like, "Why did you just say that? That just seemed odd." But if you say it funny and you put a little animation, you put some energy into it, it comes off a whole different way. And I think a lot of times, like in that situation, you had two comics who maybe didn't read the crowd, who probably didn't have the material or the experience to know how to make the material relatable. Because it could be any number of things, and then it is weird when you see somebody else come up and you're like, kill it. You're like, what the fuck? This is the same crowd? Like, yeah, same crowd. He just went up there with confidence and made his shit funny. And then also funny is funny.
All right, man. And for my last one, and man, we really wanted Jeremy in here, man. I've never had that technical difficulty that jumped off. But we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it right, and we're gonna tap you back in, Chris, because
definitely.
Between Jeremy and I, we got an interesting conversation, man.
Oh, Jeremy's king of interesting conversations.
We definitely do. But tell me this: what do you think about Monique and Netflix?
Ooh, that's like. Here's the thing. All right, off top, Monique is beyond worth what she asked for. There's nothing wrong with knowing what you're worth and knowing what you're asking for. I personally don't know how the whole deal went down. I know what I was told. What I was told, I feel like her reaction might have been over, but at the same time, I feel like maybe that's sometimes what we need. Like I was talking with my friend Tammy about the issue of police brutality, and we're talking about we need to fight back. And it's like, one person wants to fight back. I'm like, no, we all need to fight back. So sometimes, it becomes an issue of, does Monique need to do this? Or is Monique just doing this for her? And at the end of the day, I know this industry. Mm-hmm. We know this industry. Music, it's music, comedy, it's the same industry. And it's all about seeing how they can get the most out of the artist for the least amount of money.
Of anything.
You know what I mean? Of anything. You know what I mean? That's why that whole exposure thing is used so frequently. Like, it's exposure, fuck exposure. I need some bread, So I understand that in a capitalist society, yeah, I'm not mad at her going for what she went for. I wouldn't ask for the boycott personally. I'd have just been like, yo, Netflix trying to play me dirty, but whatever. I'm gonna keep grinding. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna, I feel like, I'm just a different person. But at the same time, as being somebody that knows Monique has been in this game for a very long time, and she probably knows a lot more than I do. I think if I was in her camp, I'd probably just went along with it and be like, yo, if this is what she wants to do, I believe in what she's doing. But as a just comedian myself, I don't know if I would go about it that route. Not saying it's wrong, just saying it wouldn't be my method.
Well, with that answer, I'm gonna give you a hybrid of the two things I called you. We gonna give you a half ambassador and half mayor. You know what I'm saying? You kept it very political, off in there.
Well, the internet's a weird place, man. Shit be popping up. I'll be in a meeting with Monique. She'll be like, oh, yeah, so you trying to get that role in that movie. Okay, let me show you this clip that I found. Boop. Oh, shit. No, but, at the end of the day, I'm going to be honest. Like I said, I wouldn't have done that move, but I understand the mentality behind doing it,
So tell me,
gotta be that way.
What's up with your social media tags, man? Let us know what you got going on, your social media, what they need to look out for.
I'm just going to send everybody to my Instagram, because my Instagram and Twitter, I'm getting back on Twitter because I like it again, because Facebook keeps throwing me in jail. Currently, I'm on a 30-day Facebook bid. They got me locked down at Zuckerberg Penitentiary. You know, I can't post a comment and shit, but it's cool because I got my burner page up. So, you know, you find me in the streets, find me in the Facebook streets. I should be dipping, you know what I'm saying? I'm like a nigga with a suspended license that do delivery work. I'm still dipping, you know. And then Instagram, Chris Riggins Comedy, very easy. Chris Riggins Comedy, Riggins comedy. And then on, I think on Twitter, I'm Comedy Chris because I can never get my name. Like, I don't know what the fuck it is with Chris Riggins on Twitter. I can never get it. So whoever's Chris Riggins on Twitter, you lucky bastard.
Well, nah, man, I want to thank you for tapping in, man. Once again, we supposed to have Jeremy here, man. It was just technical difficulties beyond me.
That's all right. It's all good, man. I'm glad to hear, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Good to see you, Schmooche Money. I'm glad to see you out here.
Yeah, man, been many moons, and it was good to see you when you came by the booth too. I was like, man, and it was because I can't remember if Slink said your first and last name or if he said Chris, but for whatever reason, once again, it still wasn't clicking that it was you. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like,
he kept saying you too, but he wasn't saying Schmooche. He kept saying your real name, and I was like, oh. Okay, I'm just thinking this is your boy. And then I looked over there. I was like, I know that nigga. That's...
Yeah, nah, all love brought together on High Road Day. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Once
yeah.
again, got
Shout
a
out to them.
cats. You know, shout out to Casual Big Head Science. You know what I'm saying? We had him in a couple weeks ago.
I heard. That's my guy, Casual. We got road stories. I'm his official spliff roller.
Okay. Well, nah, man, I want to thank you for checking everything out. You know what I'm saying? Tapping in with us and whatnot. So we'll have you back in a couple of weeks, man. And yeah, man, everybody go out and support Chris Riggins. He's come a long way from a rap manager. You know what
rap manager. I'm gonna put that on my card still.
That's right. Well, you're about to end the little meeting out, man, but it was cool chopping it up with you, and I'll get back with you.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
All
Peace,
right.
everybody.